I touched the mic, so hopefully that didn't mess anything up. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Presley's Pod. Yay! Um, Today I have notes, which is very exciting because last week we rambled, but that's okay. It was the first episode, no stress. I just got a spray tan, so if it starts developing as we're talking, that's what's going on. The face is glowing. I hope I'm not ruining this couch, but it's okay. So, um, this morning, I guess we're getting right back into it. I have Lauren over here, my producer. Yay. Um, I guess we're starting. Okay. So, this morning, let me get comfortable. This morning, okay? I was on the train and I was coming home from yoga and I was taking the train back to Midtown, my little oasis. And I see this man sitting probably like over here. I'm standing facing this way. He's sitting over here. I get on the train. I clock him immediately because I'm like, oh, that's my type to a T. Dressed nice, had that backpack that they all have where like the name's monogrammed. Looked like he was like going to Midtown to like boss around some associates. Like that was what we were working with. So we make eye contact and then I look away. Classic, as we do, look away. And then we're approaching my stop. So I'm like, so I'm like, okay, let me take one last little gander, a little look to the side just to see, like, you know, who knows what could happen. Maybe he like reaches for me. Just kidding. Men don't approach women anymore. So there's that. Um, so I take another look and he's like this. Right at me, right at me. I'm not even kidding you guys. I like looked and I was like, oh, jump scare. Um, Literally phone right at me. And I was like, okay, we have some options as like what could be going on here, right? One, he's about to stab me. One, he's like one of those weirdos that like needs a picture of the victim. I'm about to die. This is what's happening. Two, he was taking a selfie, which like, period, sis. Take your selfie, okay? Three, three, he saw the pod. He saw the pod and he said, that's Presley from Presley's pod. Oh my gosh, I have to take a picture like for my kid, for my niece. Um, Four, he might have thought that I was Millie Alcock, I think is her last name. She is the blonde girl in Sirens, and she was also in like a Game of Thrones prequel because I've gotten that a lot. People, we were at a bar the other night, and the waitress came up to us and was like, "Oh, that table over there wants to know if you're Millie Alcock. Alcock, I think is how you say her last name." But so I think we're gonna go with number three. I think he saw the pod. And I think he was like, you know what, that's Presley. Oh my gosh, can't believe I'm seeing her in person. And I honestly, like, I did come back from yoga, so I was glowing. So maybe he was like, that's my girl. Anyway, today I have notes. Shout out, because last week my producer Lauren, whenever we like took a little break, she was like, maybe just try to stay on topic. Like pick one topic and just lock in. And I was like, I'll try my best. I'll try my best. So if now I'm gonna try and balance like the notes and the camera thing. First of all, I want to say cheers to you all. Cheers to our first episode. Now it's our second episode. Cheers, Lauren. I love you. We're here. We're doing the thing. We're doing what we said we were gonna do. Cheers. Drinking my Aveline Rosé. I think that's how you say it. Hands down, the best rosé, better than Whispering Angel, better than all of the others, vegan friendly, free from added sugar, okay? Free from added sugar. So you can have your rosé and then you can go eat a big old brownie after and like it all balances itself out, okay? So, last week I said, I hope this gets 7 views. I hope it gets 7. My friends, my haters, and my mother. That's what I was hoping for, okay? Guess how many we got? Drum roll, please. 41, baby. 41. So thank you all. I don't know if that was just like YouTube, they felt bad for me and they were like, let's up this number up for her. I don't know if that was just me watching it, but I just want to say thank you. So I'm very excited about that. Side note that I forgot to mention last time too, like I always am in a matching sweatsuit. So if you ever see me not in one, something is going wrong in my life. So just check in on me if you ever see that. I'm usually in an Aritzia sweatsuit. Honestly, like theirs are the best. So just wanted to throw that out there as well in case anyone was looking for like a new sweatsuit. I'm like looking at the ring light and then the light is like reflecting on my laptop, like, when you stare at a light for too long. So if it takes me a second to look at this. Okay. So we're staying on task. We're staying on task. I like after I uploaded the first episode, a lot of the responses that I got were like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea that you were doing this. I didn't know that like you wanted to start something like this. This is so crazy. You're gonna be so good at this." And I was like, "Thank you so much." But I kind of liked that people didn't. Oh, the ice machine's going. It's okay. They can't hear that. We love nugget ice here. Okay, so we need our nugget ice on lock, on repeat, whatever the word is. I love it. Um, so people had like no idea that this was something that I wanted to do. And I think that's something that like I always keep my cards very close to my chest. I don't like people knowing like my next move. I don't like people knowing what I'm up to. And I love that like I will say, like, there is a bigger end goal to this. Like, there is a big picture that I see in my mind for how this is all going to end up and like tie into my career. And like, it's all calculated. Like, we're all locked in up here. Because it's so awkward when you have that friend that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, or like, oh, I have this idea and I'm gonna try and do it, and like blah blah blah. And then it just is like you don't want to check in with them because like they're not gonna do it. And like that's totally okay. Like some things just like go to the wayside and it's fine. But I was like, if I tell people that I'm gonna do this, then like I have to do this. So that I think I told 3 people that I was gonna do this, and it kind of got to the point where I would like joke about it, and then I was like, okay, I have to. Like I've talked about it way too much. Like I genuinely have to do this. So we're calculated. We're calculated only when it comes to like career and finances, okay? Like whip out that calculator. Anytime you need to literally anytime I'm like, what's a tip? Calculator is coming out. I don't know if any of you guys had a dad that liked to quiz you on statistics and mathematical equations, but that was my entire childhood and still now. Like even on our last vacation, he was explaining something to me and asking me what like 20% of some number was, and I was like, Dad, I'm in the pool, I got a spritz in hand, like I'm not there's you're not going to get anything from me. My phone's in the bag by the chair. Okay, you're not getting anything anyway. So that's that. Our little introduction done. Check. I kind of also wanted to touch on too, like I have decided to keep first of all the name, right? Presley's Pod. This isn't gonna be a podcast. Like you can't maybe one day I'll figure out putting it onto like a Spotify or an Apple podcast or whatever. But I kind of like that it's YouTube because that's what I watch and people can watch and enjoy. And um yeah, to me, that's what's working for now. So I was like, let's call it Presley's Pods. It's not really a podcast. And I've decided to keep this separate from my personal and business Instagram page. I'm like fully keeping this on TikTok and YouTube. For me, that's just like too many worlds colliding. And so follow on TikTok, subscribe on YouTube. But I really don't like to spend a lot of time on social media. Like honestly, the reason that I was nervous to start this was because I didn't want to like do the work of marketing it, and I didn't want to like try and figure out how to get views and how to get followers and like post on TikTok every day because that's so time consuming for me. Like my brain just truly cannot handle it. So I'm kind of intrigued to see if this can reach the audience that I want it to reach just on TikTok and just on YouTube. If it does, great. And if it doesn't, great. But there is, I think anytime you start something new, like if you want to be an influencer or a social media account, like there are steps that you can follow and there's a way that people are doing it that is successful. But like, what if you tried a different way? What could happen? So that's where I'm at, and we'll see. we'll see where it goes. If I didn't have any sort of like job where I needed a social media, I definitely like would not have a social media account at all. I'm like truly not the biggest fan of it, which I guess isn't that good to say out loud, but I'm not. Like I went through a period in my life. I was like when I moved to New York, I was 20, I think, and I was like I think this is what we're going to talk a little bit more about next week, but I was like very lost. I didn't have a lot of friends, and so I was on social media a lot, and I honestly think that's when like my body issues and anxiety was like at the all-time high. And so I've found a lot of ways to help me cope with social media. So I kind of wanted to talk about cope with social media. Oh my gosh, the fact that I just said that is crazy. Like it's a choice. You don't have to do it. Um so I kind of wanted to talk about that today, like talk about just I feel like we need a little bit of like a refresher. Like we all know it's bad for us, but like just to keep kind of check in of like the things that you can do to help it not take over your life. So yeah, we'll take a little break and we'll get back into it. Okay, we're back. After a tragic turn of events, I tried to stop and then restart, and I restarted and probably recorded 15 minutes, and then my phone ran out of storage and it deleted the video. So we're trying this again, but this is just the life that I live, okay? So luckily now we have my friend Addie on FaceTime. She's here. The girls are here. Addie is a phenomenal soul cycle instructor in the New York City area. She will literally, I mean, I know this sounds insane, but like I go home and I see my abs in the mirror and they weren't there before. So she is a phenomenal instructor. It's always great music, it's always great vibes. Lauren and I are always there. So come through. You can find her on the schedule. Okay, so let's circle back to everything that I just talked about, and now we're gonna try this again. Because sometimes life is just life, you know? Sometimes, well, that happened. The video stopped, and then we all stopped, and then we got distracted talking about Lauren's date for tonight. And now she's pointing to the hats that we have that say always prepare for disappointment, because that is our group's motto. Because sometimes life is just disappointing. More men are disappointing. So, yes, now we're back. Okay, so circling back to social media, I am like truly, truly not the biggest fan. So, trying to, the way that Lauren is watching this video like a hawk, making sure that the storage notification doesn't pop up. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of social media. Like, I truly agree with all the scientists that say that it's really affecting our mental health. I'm like 100% agree. I usually don't keep the Instagram app on my phone. That's really helped me a lot. I checked my notifications on my laptop. And it's so funny. I'll be like DMing my friends. They're like, "You're typing on your laptop right now." And I'm like, "Yes, I am." But I think we're gonna get into this maybe next week, maybe the week after. But I would say like post college, ages 20. I graduated early, so like 20 to 22. I was in like a very low place in my life, and I really don't think that not it wasn't Instagram's fault, obviously, but it that like really added fuel to the fire. And so I just kind of like developed a system that works for me. And I thought that we should talk about that today because it is like such a big part of like everyone's lives. You know, everyone has an Instagram, we're all on social media. We want to know what the trends are, we want to know who's doing what with who, like we want all the drama. So the one thing that truly helped me is when you wake up in the morning, the fact that I already said all of this like 15 minutes ago is crazy. Um, anyway, we're here. When you wake up in the morning, I honestly think I'm not a scientist, I'm not a therapist. The worst thing that you can do for your mental health is to wake up in the morning, roll over and check Instagram. Why in the world would you wake up, roll over, and check to see what other people are up to or what other people did the night before? You haven't even checked in with yourself on like, how did I sleep? What's making me anxious for today? What do I have going on today? Like, you're rolling over and wasting your morning looking at what other people did. You're rolling over, wasting your morning looking at what other people are up to. Why on earth would you do that? Why would you do that? Honestly, like a lot changed for me the minute that I stopped doing that. I will say that. And I think too, like in New York, there's always things that you're going to be missing everywhere, but like definitely New York. Like there's always a party, there's always a bar opening, there's always a show, there's always a class, there's always something that you're going to be missing out on. So you just have to accept the fact like people are always up to something and it's totally fine for you to like not be there and you don't have to feel any sort of way not being there, if that makes sense. Huge advocate for staying home. Huge advocate. So the reason that I decided to keep like my personal Instagram, my like business Instagram completely separate from this podcast, like I hadn't even downloaded TikTok before I needed to download it and start this because going back to like the low place in my life, early 20s, I was like, if I download TikTok, that's going to be really bad for me. Like, I knew that in my core of like, if I sit there and I scroll and I look at everyone else like living these perfect lives, I know how that's going to affect me. And I know that that's going to make me really anxious and feel really bad about myself. So I just can't do it. And people would send me TikTok videos. And I was like, for some reason with the TikTok app, if you like don't have an account, you can only watch it on like a laptop or something because it doesn't prompt you to download the app. So people would send me TikToks and I'll be like, oh, watch it when I get home on my laptop. But anyway, TikTok does give me hope for our future. Okay. There's some funny people out there and I love to watch when I can, but I really try not to be on it. I think too, something that I realized like I just went on a trip to Vegas and I was with my parents and I was posting on Instagram like my outfits and what we were what we were eating. And I ran into my friend that I hadn't seen in a while and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you just got back from this like fabulous trip. Like who were you with? You were with a man, right?" And I was like, "A man? A man? What's that?" No. First of all, I was like, "Who?" um but I was like, "No, I was fully with my parents." He was like, "Oh, I thought you were with like somebody that you were seeing." And I was like, "No, I was just because I wasn't posting that I was with my parents." And this obviously isn't like fault on him, but he mentally was filling in the blanks that I was with some man that was paying for the trip. You know what I mean? Like whenever you see someone's story on Instagram or someone's like life on their account, you kind of like without realizing it subconsciously just start filling in the blanks of like what you think is happening. And I will say, like living in New York, like a lot more people have the parents' credit card than you think. No shame. Hey, no shame. My parents, the minute I moved here, they were like, see ya, even off the insurance, pre 26. They were like, see ya, you're done. I got my teeth cleaned by some scary people. Okay. Let's just say that. But I just think that like Instagram, it's not real life. Okay. It really isn't. So you just have to remember that and constantly remind yourself of that. Another thing that helped me is I love it so much. The mute button. You can mute people on Instagram without unfollowing. I feel like we all know this, but I just want to throw it out there again. If there is someone that keeps popping up on your feed that you don't like to see, but for whatever reason you just like can't quite unfollow, maybe it'll just like cause some beef or like you have to see them the next day and you're like, well, if I unfollow them on Instagram, like it's going to cause drama, whatever. It is a magical thing. I think I have more people muted than you would expect. Like if you're watching this and you're like, "Oh, I'm definitely not muted," you're muted. Just because there's like in New York you interact with so many people. There's people that I'm like, "Okay, you were mean to me yesterday, so I don't want to see you on Instagram today. I'm going to mute you." Like it's just it is what it is, you know? Anyway, circling back to more like Instagram reminders, remember that like when you're picking through like 50 pictures of yourself to post on Instagram that other people are doing that too, right? Like we're all picking the best one. No one's going to post their bad pictures on Instagram. You are fully in control of who you follow. If you don't want to follow them, mute them or just check in on like who you're following and see what kind of like emotional reaction it's bringing up for you and hit the unfollow button, hit the mute button. Um I will say that the whole like screen time notification thing doesn't work. I honestly don't think that it works because you can just click like, oh, continue watching or whatever it is. So for me, what really helped was like picking a day. Like I would pick Sunday out of the week to fully not check Instagram at all. Monday, after you take the time for yourself in the morning, you can hit the app hard, okay? But Sunday, any day, whatever like your day off is, or maybe like a busier day at work, you don't check it. just to have one day of no social media is key of like mental health. It like I can't even verbalize, like obviously because I'm not looking at my notes, but like verbalize how much that helped me. Um Facetune is still a thing, baby. It is still a thing. I fully was using Facetune in high school and college, and I thought that we'd like stopped. And hey, I get it. Sometimes there's like a little brush. You want to take something away, you want to make something a little taller, you want to make something a little bigger. I get it, trust me. But just remember that people are still using that. I fully thought that it had like died when we all graduated from college, but it has not. So just a reminder, Facetune is still a thing. And we're going to talk about this next week when we talk about like dating and dating apps, but you would much rather look better when you walk into like the function, the date, the outing. You would much rather look better in person than on Instagram, right? So if your Instagram is just like a highlight reel of all of your perfect angles and like all of the days that you've like looked your best, and then you walk in person, like I'm not going to say it cuz it's mean, but I just want to throw that out there, okay? You always want to look better in person. So careful with the Facetune and remember that other people do it as well. So do not compare yourself to people that you see on the internet. Um Another thing that we were talking about earlier, straight men that have an Instagram. To me, that's a little concerning, okay? Like Instagram's for the girls, okay? Like they don't need to be on Instagram. And again, like we're going to talk about dating next week, but I just want to give you like a little pro tip, okay? Any man that you meet, you can tell everything about him, not everything, but majority, if you look at his following, who he follows. Does he follow certain news stations? Does he follow certain presidents? Does he follow a plethora of Instagram models? Like you can tell right away the type of person that you're working with, like you can kind of see the Instagram following. And I'm looking at my friends, like it's actually insane that they like don't realize that like we can see that. Like I feel like if they knew, I mean, obviously they know that we can see it, but like that's the first thing that I check because I'm like, okay, what are we working with? And then I'm like, oh, actually, like I knew that this was how it's going to be when I was walking into this, and now whatever. I can't. Also, another thing too, there are men that I went on dates with a couple years ago, maybe like a 3 or 4 dates that I've unfollowed on Instagram since because I'm like, you're not in my life anymore, that are either now like fully in a serious relationship or married that are still following me on Instagram. Maybe they're not interacting with my posts, but the fact that they still follow me, like, why? If, okay, if I was someone's wife and I saw that my husband was still following a girl that he went on like 3 dates with, no, babe, no, no. That's why Instagram's for the girls, okay? And even like we were talking earlier, my friend has an ex that just will not stop. He's fully in a new relationship and he will not. She was showing me the DMs and it is him talking to himself. And I was like, Lauren, you dodged. Well, I just name dropped, sorry, but whatever. I was like, Lauren, you dodged a bullet because you could have been that girl. And it's just like it's a little concerning. Like, I honestly, I don't, maybe it's like PTSD, but I don't trust any sort of man with an Instagram. But another time, another time. Okay. So I also think like just quickly we should touch on the idea of like an influencer, right? Like they're getting paid by these brands to sell you these products. So when you're seeing a new makeup routine or an outfit haul or like you need these shoes for going out in New York City, like do you really need them? Do you really need a whole new face routine? Are you really missing that one skincare product that's like going to change your life? Like, first of all, everyone's skin is different. Everyone's bodies are different. Like, what looks good on this girl doesn't look good on you. And yes, they are making their money influencing you to buy these things, as they should, okay? As they should. Like I will never forget when it was the Real Housewives, no, not Real Housewives, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, when they were talking about how they she was like, one brand deal is my whole husband's salary for the year, so he quit his job. And I was like, period. So get your money from these brands. Do it. But I just want everyone to like keep that in the back of their mind of like, it creates this sort of like anxiety and like this like weird energy of like, oh, I have to buy that because then like I'm gonna look like them and then I'm gonna like have clear skin and perfect hair and like but what works for them isn't going to work for you. Celebrate them that they're getting their money from this brand, but just remember that it is their job to try and influence you to buy it. You don't have to get it. Yeah, you really don't. We should not be using, I don't even like TikTok shop. Is that a thing? Like, we should honestly, like, should we be using it? Probably not. Okay. So let's just remember that. It's very easy to get overwhelmed. It's very easy to feel like you need a whole new wardrobe. Like, you don't. You don't. Okay. And also, they're getting the things for free that they're trying to influence you to buy. Okay. Like, they didn't pay for it. So, mm, mm, mm. So, I think, like, circling back, just really check in with yourself of like how you're feeling when you're on social media and like if it truly is working for you. If I didn't do this and if I didn't have my other job, I would not be on social media at all. I watched the documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma. If you haven't seen it, please watch it because it like truly changed the way that I see that I view all of this. Obviously I'm like not advocating everyone to delete their Instagrams, but I just like think that we can have a little reset, a little reprogramming of like, is this actually serving me? So yeah, my homework for you guys is pick one day a week to not check Instagram. And if you want extra credit, you can do the morning exercise of not checking for like at least an hour after you wake up. But for me, at least, like I'll be sitting in my apartment and I'm like, why am I so anxious right now? Like, why do I feel like I like need to do something? And it's like, oh, because the past 3 days I've like downloaded Instagram back again on my phone so that I can like post about this and blah, blah, blah. So just like keep checking in. And it's hard. It's hard. Like I can't even saying like, oh, I wouldn't have an Instagram. Like, I'm like, oh, how would I like know anything about anyone? Like, how would I see what people are up to? But I truly think that there is something there. Like, if we all just got a little bit more self aware of what social media was like doing to us, not in like a scary way. I don't want to scare anyone, but like, once I realized that that was probably like 50% of the problem in my early 20s that was causing me like severe body issues and severe anxiety, like, that truly like it I honestly like therapize myself in a way. So anyway, I don't mean to like end it on kind of like a sad note, but I just want everyone to like just check in, do like a little check, right? Like, can we pick one day to not check the social media? I think we can. I think we can. Make yourself really busy that day, get outside, see your friends, cause some chaos, do whatever you need to do. But just like really check in to see like why you're using Instagram and how you feel when you're looking at other people's lives. And remember the mute button. It's a magical thing. I love you all so much. I really hope that this saved. I think I'm getting the thumbs up from my producer. Okay. So fingers crossed. And yeah, I look forward to next week. For now, we're still going. So we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for listening. Love you all. And until next time, yay.